3 night hikers, 3 winter storms, 3 things that can't be explained. A headlamp dies in the backcountry, then another light appears behind you. You hear voices in a blizzard calling your name, but you're alone. You see a shadow moving beneath the ice. When you look closer, it's looking back at you. What connects them? Darkness, isolation, and something in the winter wilderness that doesn't want to be seen. These aren't campfire stories, these are case files, and they're still unexplained. Subscribe if you're new, and let's jump into the video. I looked down through the ice, and something looked back up at me. I work for the Park Service, managing winter recreation permits for Voyageurs National Park in northern Minnesota. It's mostly frozen lakes up there, over 200,000 acres of ice in the winter. People snowshoe across it, ice fish, snowmobile. It's beautiful, endless white silence. That's why it's so dangerous. In January of 2020, a solo hiker named Eric Branham went missing while crossing Rainy Lake. He had an overnight permit, a GPS beacon, proper gear. He was an experienced winter camper. He checked in on day 1, sent his coordinates at noon on day 2, then nothing. We launched a search that afternoon. His last known position was near the centre of the lake, about 4 miles from shore. The ice was solid, 18 inches thick, safe for snowmobiles, let alone a hiker on snowshoes. I joined the search team the next morning, 6 of us, fanned out in a grid pattern, walking the lake. The sun was bright, the sky was clear, perfect conditions. If he was out there, we would find him. Around 11 AM, I saw something, a dark shape beneath the ice, maybe 50 yards ahead. At first, I thought it was a shadow from a cloud, but the sky was cloudless. I radioed it in and started walking towards it. The ice in Voyageurs is strange in winter. When it's clear and thick, you can see straight down through it, 10, 15 feet deep, all the way to the lake bed. It's like walking on glass. As I got closer, the shape became clearer. It was a person, face up, arms spread, suspended in the water beneath the ice like they were floating in space. I dropped to my knees and looked down. It was Eric. I recognized his jacket from the missing person photo. His eyes were open, staring up at me through the ice. I screamed into the radio for backup, then started marking the spot with flags. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold them. The other searchers arrived within minutes. We drilled through the ice and pulled him up. He drowned. Somehow, he'd fallen through a weak spot, gotten trapped under the ice and drifted until he froze in place. It happens more than people think. Current pulls you under the solid ice and you can't find the hole you fell through. We brought his body back to shore, called the medical examiner, notified his family. That should have been the end of it. But 2 weeks later, Eric's wife called me. She'd been going through his belongings and found his GoPro. He'd been recording the hike. "I need to ask you something," she said, her voice shaking. "When you found him, was anyone else out there?" "No," I said. "He was alone." "Then who's on the video?" She sent me the file. The footage started normal. Eric hiking across the lake, navigating his route, showing off the scenery. Clear ice, blue sky. He sounded happy. Then, about 20 minutes before the timestamp of his last GPS ping, he stopped walking. "What is that?" he said, his voice quiet. The camera panned down. He was looking through the ice at something below. At first, I couldn't see it, just darkness and water. Then the camera focused. There was a shadow beneath the ice, small, moving. Eric zoomed in. It wasn't a fish, it wasn't debris, it was a person, a small person, a child. "Oh my God," Eric whispered, "there's somebody down there." He started running, following the shadow. His breath came in short gasps. The camera shook with his footsteps. "Hold on," he shouted, "I'm coming." He pulled out an ice saw and started cutting. His hands moved fast, desperate. He broke through and plunged his arm into the water. The video cut off. The next file was from his phone, recovered from his jacket pocket. It had kept recording in his pocket for another 8 hours, even underwater. The audio is mostly muffled water sounds, but at the very end, there was something, a child's voice, faint, echoing, "Thank you, Daddy." I called Eric's wife back. "Did he have a daughter?" I asked. The silence on the other end stretched too long. "Yes," she finally said. "Emma, she was 8. She died 3 years ago, drowned in a lake near our house." I felt my chest tighten. "I'm so sorry." "When we found Emma," his wife continued, "she was on the opposite side of the lake from where she fell in. The current had carried her under the ice, just like Eric." She paused. "The lake she drowned in was connected to the Voyagers. Same watershed." I didn't know what to say. "There's one more thing," she whispered. "The medical examiner said Eric didn't drown. He died from hypothermia, but they found water in his lungs and bruising on his arms, like he'd been carrying something heavy." They searched the area where Eric fell in through the ice. They found the hole he cut, and 20 feet away, on the opposite shore, they found small footprints in the snow, child-size, bare feet, leading away from the lake and disappearing into the woods. The prints were fresh. They tested the ice where Eric had been found. It was 18 inches thick, solid. There was no weak spot, no reason for him to fall through, unless he'd gone in on purpose. I think about that video a lot, the shadow moving under the ice, Eric cutting through, the voice saying, "Thank you, Daddy." Sometimes I wonder if he knew, if, in that moment, he saw his daughter and just followed her. I still work at the Voyagers, and sometimes, when I'm out on the ice, I look down just to make sure there's nothing looking back. Three of us went into that storm, but 5 sets of footprints came out. I'm an EMT and I volunteer for search and rescue in the Rocky Mountain National Park during the winter. You see a lot of bad calls, broken ankles, hypothermia, the occasional fatality. But what happened that night in February of 2019 wasn't something I could put into a report. We got the call around 8 PM. 3 college kids from Boulder had gone snowshoeing that afternoon and haven't come back. A blizzard had rolled in out of nowhere, 0 visibility, 30-mile-per-hour winds, wind chill around -20. We assembled a team of 6, but by the time we geared up and got to the trailhead, the storm had gotten so bad that only 3 of us pushed forward, me, my partner Jenny, and a ranger named Mike. We found their car around 9:30 PM, buried under 6 inches of fresh snow. Their packs were still inside, no food, no emergency blankets, just day hikers caught off guard. We started up the trail, calling their names into the wind. The snow was coming down so hard we could barely see 10 feet ahead. Our headlamps just reflected back at us in a wall of white. 30 minutes in, we heard something, a voice, faint, calling for help. "Over here!" I shouted. We changed direction, pushing through waist-deep drifts towards the sound. The voice called again, closer now, a woman's voice. I thought, desperate, weak. "We're coming!" Jenna yelled. "Keep talking, we'll find you." But when we reached the spot where the voice had been, there was nothing. No footprints, no person, just endless snow and darkness. The voice called again, but now it was behind us. Mike grabbed my arm. "That's not right." We turned. The voice was moving, circling us. Then it said my name. David. I froze. The voice was soft now, almost a whisper, but I heard it clear as day, even through the wind. "David, help me." "How does it know your name?" Jenna whispered. I didn't answer. I couldn't, because now I heard a second voice. "Jenna." She went pale. "What the hell is that?" Mike pulled out his radio, tried to call base camp. Static. The storm was jamming the signal. "Mike." All three of our names, spoken by something we couldn't see. "We need to go back," Mike said, his voice tight. "Right now." We turned around and started moving fast, following our own tracks behind the trail. The voices followed us, always just out of sight, always calling our names. "Please don't leave. I'm so cold. Help me." Jenna was nearly running now, her breath coming in ragged gasps. "This isn't real. This isn't real." We reached the trailhead an hour later, stumbling into the parking lot half frozen and shaking. The other rescuers were there, waiting in the warmth of the command tent. "You alright?" one of them asked, seeing our faces. "We need to call it," Mike said flatly. "Storm's too bad. We'll resume at first light." The three college kids were found the next morning, safe and sound, huddled in a warming hut 2 miles down a different trail. They made it out on their own before we started searching. That should have been the end of it. But when the storm cleared, we went back to document our search route, standard procedure. That's when we saw the footprints, 5 sets, leading from the trail into the woods and back. 3 sets were ours. I recognized the tread of my boots, Jenna's, Mike's. The other 2 sets were smaller, bare feet. Bare feet in the snow, in a blizzard, in negative 20-degree weather. We followed them. They led deep into the woods, circling the area where we heard the voices. At one point, they split off, 1 set going east, 1 going west, like they'd been flanking us. The footsteps stopped at a tree line, just ended. No trace after that. Mike took photos, measured them, called it in. The official report said animal tracks, likely deer. But deer don't leave prints that look like human feet, and deer doesn't walk on 2 legs. 3 weeks later, they found the body, a woman named Maria Hollis. She'd gone missing during that same storm, hiking alone. Her body was 2 miles from where we searched. Cause of death, hypothermia. The coroner estimated she'd been calling for help for hours before she died. Calling for help right around the time we heard the voices. I didn't think much of it. Coincidence, tragic, but coincidence. Then I found the note. It was in my jacket pocket, tucked into the inner lining. I'd worn that jacket the night of the search, then hung it up in my closet. I didn't touch it again until the next winter. The note was handwritten on a torn piece of paper, the edges stained and crumpled. It said, "Thank you for staying with me. I wasn't alone. M." I checked with Jenna and Mike. They both found notes too. Same handwriting, same message. "Thank you for staying with me." We never spoke about it, not officially. What would we even say? But sometimes When I'm out on a call and the wind picks up, I hear it again. A voice in the storm, soft, grateful, saying my name. My headlight died 3 miles into the night hike. That's when I saw the other light behind me, but I was the only one out there. I'm a winter wildlife photographer and I've done dozens of night hikes in Glacier National Park. You learn to love the darkness out there. It's pure in a way daylight never is. The stars reflect off the snow so bright you can see your own shadow. I gone out that February night chasing the Northern Lights forecast, solo, like I always do. The trail was empty. I checked in at a ranger station at 6 PM, checked the log. No one else had signed it for the backcountry that night. It was a Tuesday, -15 degrees. I had the wilderness all to myself. My headlamp was fresh, new batteries. I checked them twice. At 9:47 PM, exactly 3 miles in, it died. Just clicked off. No dimming, no warning. 1 second I had full beam cutting through the darkness. The next, nothing. I stopped walking, let my eyes adjust. The moon was barely a sliver, but the snow held enough ambient light that I could make out the trail. I reached off to fiddle with the battery pack, and that's when I saw it. A light, maybe 200 yards behind me, moving. My first thought was relief. Another hiker. Maybe we could share a headlamp back to the trailhead. But then the cold logic hit me. I'd been the only one in the log. I'd been walking for an hour and a half. If someone was behind me, they would have passed me by now. Or I would have heard them. Sound carries in winter silence. Every breath echoes. Every footstep crunches. I hadn't heard anything. The light kept moving, steady, not fast, not slow, just following. I turned back towards the trail and started walking faster. My dead headlamp bounced against my chest. I didn't call out. Some instinct told me not to. The light stayed behind me, always the same distance. I walked faster. It stayed. I broke into a jog. My boots pounding the packed snow. It stayed. 10 minutes later, I stopped to catch my breath, my heart hammering. 10 minutes later, I stopped to catch my breath, my heart hammering in my ears. I turned around. The light was closer, maybe 100 yards now. And that's when I noticed something that made my stomach drop. The light wasn't moving side to side like a hiker's headlamp. It wasn't bouncing with footsteps. It was just gliding, smooth and steady, like it was floating 3 feet off the ground. I ran. I don't know how long I ran. My lungs burned. My legs screamed. The cold air felt like razor blades in my throat. I kept my eyes forward, didn't look back, just followed the faint outline of the trail in the starlight. And then I saw it. My car. The trailhead parking lot. I'd made it back. I fumbled for my keys, my hands shaking so badly I dropped them twice in the snow. I finally got the door open, threw myself inside, locked it, started the engine, cranked the heat. I sat there for 5 minutes, gasping, waiting for the light to appear at the edge of the trees. It never did. I checked my watch, 10:34 PM. I'd been hiking for just under 3 hours. A little faster than usual, but not impossible if I had been jogging part of my way back. I drove home. I didn't sleep, kept seeing that light in my mind. Smooth, steady, wrong. The next morning, I went back to the ranger station. I wanted to report it. Maybe a drone, some kind of wildlife monitoring equipment. The ranger on duty looked at my name in the log, then looked at me. "You signed out 2 days ago," she said. I stared at her. No, last night. I was only out for 3 hours. She turned the log around, showed me. My sign in, February the 14th, 6 p.m. My sign out, February the 16th, 10:34 p.m. 48 hours, not 3. We were about to send a search team, she said quietly. Your car's been sitting in that lot for 2 days. I tried to argue, tried to explain, but my phone confirmed it. 2 days of missed calls, 2 days of messages. The battery was nearly dead. I had been running for 48 hours straight. I scrolled through my photos. I'd taken a few shots of the northern lights early in the hike. Then there were others, photos I didn't remember taking, dozens of them, all from the same angle, looking down at me, lying in the snow, eyes closed, not moving. In some of the photos, you could see my chest rising and falling. I was still alive, just asleep or something. The last photo was timestamped 10:31 p.m. on February the 16th, 3 minutes before I woke up in my car. It showed me from behind, walking towards the parking lot. My headlamp was off, following a light I couldn't see. And in the darkness behind me, just barely visible in the frame, there was a shape, tall, thin, keeping pace. I haven't been back to that trail. I still do night hikes, but never alone, and I never, ever let my headlamp die. Because sometimes, when I'm out there in the dark, I swear I can still see that light behind me, smooth, steady, waiting.